Yeah, definitely was a great experience. As the friendships developed on the actual home front behind the scenes with Ron and Tasha and Dylan.
So the episode 4 was a huge episode, and it kind of set the rest of the episodes for my character. Initially we were going to have one of my friends, Avery, come in and do a part, but she ended up not being able to come in. So Ron had to quickly rewrite a scene, and she had some pretty, I guess, goofy and I guess idiotic lines that ended up being transferred to my character.
Originally, she was supposed to play a person who was going to come in to audition for the show and be very clumsy and bumbling and knock stuff off the desk and this and that. And then also, she would deliver these kind of off-the-wall, kind of silly, goofy lines. There are actually still references to this person coming in to audition because those scenes were shot when we thought she was still going to come in.
But it was really fun, and if you guys watch, there's the scene where Amanda is giving my character coffee, and I'm talking to her saying, like, why are you giving me coffee?
Funny how many times we may use coffee cups, but nothing resides in those cups except air. And there were times where I wish something was in there, something a little stronger, if you know what I mean.
And I had a sore throat, and so my voice is like very, very raspy, and I played it off because my throat was hurting so bad, all like depressive and sad, and because we had to cut back and forth from other scenes, there would be scenes where I was really, really happy, and then we'd cut back to a scene like that, and I would be really, really sad. So it was like, I used to joke around, I think we might have saying it was like Corey's bipolar day, where he was like up and down in emotions.
But I like to think really though that his depression in this episode was really just part of him trying to pull the wool over my eyes and make me believe this prank he was pulling.
Corey needs to be made fun of.
Yeah, he played that so well.
Things were shot so out of sequence that we didn't really keep everything together as nicely as we might have. So in some scenes, he's all happy and normal Corey, and then in other scenes, he's all kind of depressed because we had to do that in order to incorporate some of the jokes that we wanted to from Avery's part.
If this is a labor of love, then I need an epidural. Yeah, and one of my good lines. I said sarcastically, but we had to put it in the show.
Having a cartoon artist on set was really awesome. I still have that photo, although I look like a president. I can't remember who we were saying, but I had such a huge nose, and it was always a joke that I had a big nose, and like cave dwellers had gotten in there and died because it was so big. May not sound like people were nice on set, but we were really close to where we could joke around like that.
So, but yeah, we picked on him quite a bit. He was the monkey in the middle.
We had, again, the great fortune to have as a guest a wonderfully talented caricature artist, Steve Doris, who I had been acquainted with for some time prior to that.
Yeah, actually I saw my picture from that. I was going through my art stuff and I found it. Yeah, he was just a nice guy. It was a nice episode. And thankfully I wasn't mic'd because I just, once again, said a few things I really shouldn't have.
The concept for this thing was that, again, Corey was pulling one of his endless pranks on me, and so he had talked Steve into drawing a really bad caricature of me, which looked nothing like me at all, and I have that right here, see?
Yeah, this is another fantastic Corey prank.
So Steve played right along, and I think had maybe a little too much fun creating this, but anyway, so for the rest of the show, of course, I go around saying, do you think this really looks like me? Or, oh yeah, it looks great, it looks great.
His eyes were different size. He had like one vampire tooth, and he was going around to all the characters saying, like, does this really look like me? Like, I'm not this ugly, am I? And everybody was like, oh, that looks so good.
And I was like, yeah, well, sure, it looks just like you. And you're just like, gosh, maybe this is the reason why she won't go out with me. She thinks I look like this.
But it was awesome to have him on board and to watch how he drew everybody. And I know I laughed so hard when he drew Tasha's because she looked like a horse, because she had this huge mouth that was so funny. And I remember Shannon, when she saw her picture, she was like, oh my gosh, I look good, you know? Like, he drew it, and somehow the way he drew her eyes, she just looked so good in it.
He just really fit in really very nicely. He came in and played along, which was great. And then we had the chance to see him do his thing as well. So it was a good show. It was a good show.